It's an ambush predator that lives in the northeastern Atlantic, but it has disappeared from many areas. For a long time, they were considered nothing more than another fish in the ocean, but then in the 80s, suddenly everyone wanted to eat them. They are labeled as a critically endangered species and have been declared extinct in the North Sea. The creature is not what you might expect. First and foremost, the elephant shrew is not actually a shrew at all. Also known as senjis, they are more closely related to elephants. Surprise! They are only about 10 inches long, and they only weigh an ounce or two, but it's true, they are more related to aardvarks and elephants than to shrews. Their long, flexible snouts can twist around and is very sensitive, just like an elephant's. So isn't afraid to run away, and it's quick like a bunny. This creature can go 18 miles an hour with its long rear legs. They are most active during the day and are often trapped and eaten by humans. This, along with deforestation, agriculture, and logging, makes the elephant shrew extremely rare. There are only about 100 gray-faced elephant shrews left. Plowshare tortoise, also known as the Angonoka tortoise, is one of the rarest tortoises in the world. In fact, they're still in high demand today, despite people banding together to try and protect the tortoise. And people would often burn the land to make room for cattle pastures in an attempt to clear them out quickly, but many of the animals, including tortoises, weren't able to get away in time. There are about 600 of them left in the wild, but it is believed they will become extinct in about 10 years. Related to the mongoose, the Durrell's voncira is actually a carnivorous mammal that hides out in the wetlands. Researchers studying lemurs were pretty surprised when they saw this critter swimming in a lake and realized it was a new species. It's the only carnivore that lives in freshwater marshes. This might just be the most endangered carnivore on the planet. Found on the island of Cat Ban, Vietnam, the white-headed langur is one of the rarest mammals on Earth. Adults are a dark chocolate brown, while their babies have a golden-orange fur. The island they live on has become a place of mass industrial expansion, and their habitats are being destroyed left and right. Even worse still is that poachers kill them for their meat, and their bones and body parts are sold on the black market. At present, there are believed to be no more than 58 white-headed langurs in the world, and scientists speculate that within 30 years, they will be fully extinct. It is also known as the panda of the ocean because of the big rings around its eyes. They are pretty small, only about 4 feet long, and they usually weigh less than 100 pounds. It's also one of the rarest animals on the planet, found off the Gulf of California, and they usually only stay in groups of 3. It is to know that the Amur leopard is native to Russia and China. That speaks a lot to their ability to cope with any climate, as the temperatures in those regions, especially in Russia, can drop to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. But it's not the weather that the Amur leopard has to fear. As you know by now, it's us. Not only because of habitat loss, but because, not unlike in Africa, at last count there were about 100 of these cats left on Earth after intense conservation efforts, which is almost double what it was just 3 years ago. So finally, some good news. There are many primates in the world, but few are as rare as the Hainan gibbon, and their numbers aren't improving. In fact, there are less than 24 left in the world today. Known to live on an island around China called Hainan, hence where they got their name, these creatures used to be everywhere. In fact, several decades ago, about 6,000 Hainan gibbons were documented, and now there's around 20, maybe. So what happened? You know the answer. They were hunted down for their bones and body parts as they were viewed as prized medicinal items. It's kind of a miracle we have any animals left at all. There are only 3 different kinds of wombat in the world, and the hairy-nosed wombat almost went completely extinct. Now, though, they are only in Queensland and Epping Forest National Park. A recent survey done in 2015 showed that these wombats aren't doing so well, as their population numbers are only around 230 in total. This number makes them one of the rarest land mammals on the planet. However, there is good news. It looks like they are starting to do well even though they are confined to a small area. The problem is that, like the monkeys, it results in a lack of genetic variation, and inbreeding is a concern. Wombats are nocturnal and live in burrows. They love to eat certain kinds of grass, but have had to compete with livestock and invasive grass species. Their population is being closely monitored to see if they can make a comeback. The metallic tarantula may not be made of metal, but it is real. Not to be confused with the cobalt blue tarantula, the metallic tarantula is also known as the Guti sapphire ornamental tree spider. It was first recorded in 1899 and then was rediscovered in 2001 in India. They are very rare, as you've probably guessed, and are only found in an area of less than 100 square, and they are very hard to study. They can fetch a high price on the black market since they're so hard to find. Good news is there are captive breeding programs, and scientists are still hoping to learn more about why these creatures are blue.